Yeah. Hi everyone, it's Justin Ty here from Exceed. Thanks for joining the call today. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes or so introducing Mycloudcalling, which is Exceed's cloud PBX offering based on Microsoft's modern workplace, and Kordia's carrier-grade service integrated with Microsoft Teams direct routing. You will see the agenda is set out for you to review, starting with an introduction from Simon Tabram. It's my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. So today we've got Robert Habernick from Microsoft. He's Microsoft New Zealand's modern workplace business group lead. We've got Murray Goodman, the head of product from Kordia, and of course Simon Tabram, Exceed's cloud business manager. Before I hand over to our first speaker, I just got a couple of observations from Exceed's perspective about the relevance of the service to your customers. So last year we had a visit from our telco provider advising that our ISDN lines would end of life sometime next year, I believe. This is a service that we've relied on since our business started about 18 years ago, as have thousands of other companies throughout New Zealand. The timing for the service to be replaced with a new solution like Mycloudcalling couldn't be better, with New Zealand's NBN network almost fully deployed. Upgrading to this type of solution will enable Exceed to offer more flexible working options for our team, and at the same time reduce costs, retain talent, and improve productivity. The missing piece of the puzzle for us has always been a genuinely flexible phone system that allows our team to interact with our customers and staff from anywhere as if they were based in our head office. So with that, I'd like to hand over to Simon Tabram, who will get us underway. Simon, over to you.
Quick change of the hot seats. Thank you. Seem to be locked up a little bit here. I'm just trying to flip through slides. There we go. Little technical difficulty. They all work together well. So look, I'm just going to spend the next sort of 5 or so minutes just talking about what we've created with Mycloudcalling. We kicked the tires around town onto how we could bring a service wrapped around your existing Teams environment, so utilising Microsoft's modern workplace. Teams, as all of you probably know, has had voice release to it, and then partnering up with the likes of Kordia and their direct routing capability, we've been able to open up the full call control and PBX capabilities that a lot of your customers are consuming today. It can really, in some ways, replace desktop phones. You can be using headsets connected to devices. There are some scenarios on the website that we've built out that explain sort of some of the features that Teams brings to a mobile workforce, but also some cool things that it actually offers around savings and costs when users are roaming throughout the world. I know I made some Teams calls from Sydney last week, and there was no roaming charges needed to make those calls. I was just sitting on Wi-Fi in a hotel, and I was able to use the full functionality of the Kordia system to be able to make these calls. So what have we built? It's a simple licensing model, and that it's a per user per month base fee, which includes your local, national, and New Zealand-based mobile calls. And then we've created a price list for international calls, which is presented in a reseller buy and an RRP. On the Mycloudcalling site, it's RRP based, so you can actually be presenting that with your customers. The Mycloudcalling offering is it enhances that simple call management you get in Teams. As you can see on the slide, a full PBX functionality, and enables that modern workforce and collaboration that comes with services like Teams. There's also the enablement of audio conferencing features. We know some partners are selling this today to multinational companies here in New Zealand, and that's one of the enhancements that you get with turning on the calling features within the Teams environment. So how does it work? It's effectively a PSTN line, which is highly likely already connected at your customer's site. The Mycloudcalling piece sits in the middle of that, which is provided over a SIP trunk. And then you have your Office 365 or Microsoft 365 tenancy, and you add your Teams phone system license to that, or audio conferencing licensing, or the cloud call functionality as well to have meeting rooms set up and public phones within the organisation set up, and then you obviously have the users, and the users could be global, local, or using a device of some sort. So it's the piece that we're talking about here today is the Mycloudcalling, which we've partnered together with Kordia to provide. So on that note, speaking of Kordia, I'll hand over to Murray Goodman from Kordia. Just as Murray grabs his seat, there is a Q&A box there. Please load any Q&A stuff into there, and we'll spend a bit of time going over that at the end of the presentation. So I'd like to hand over to Murray.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I thought it's worth just spending a little bit of time telling you who Kordia is for those of you that don't know. Kordia is actually a state-owned enterprise. We've been around for about 60 years. Our heritage is television and radio broadcast. We still provide the Freeview platform here in New Zealand and AM and FM radio transmission. So we've been around a long time, and mission critical network services is in our DNA. Evidence of that, just going through some of the call outs in that slide, we provide safety of life at sea for the maritime industry. We cover 90 million square kilometres via our HF and VHF radio network that we built and monitor. If you're out in your boat and you do an SOS channel 16, it's a Kordia person that picks that call up and helps coordinate the rescue. We're the only telco in New Zealand that still operates its own field force. So when you get a service installed from Kordia, it's actually a Kordia technician that turns up on site and a Kordia person that fixes the communications, any communication devices on your customer premises. And a few years ago, about 4 years ago, we also bought Aura Information Security, which is a independent division of Kordia, and it's now, I think, the largest independent security company in New Zealand, offering cybersecurity consultancy to the New Zealand government and New Zealand businesses. So, you know, a large network footprint here in New Zealand and a lot of experience in this space. So the relevance of that for delivering on the promise of cloud calling, we aren't an integrator for a start. From a telco perspective, we don't compete with you guys, the resellers. In fact, about half of our new revenue comes from working in a collaborative environment and comes from what we would call our channels or our resellers. And the importance here is that if 80% of your network traffic these days is heading into the cloud, you want to be sure that your network is up to speed, performing consistently, is secure and reliable. And you want to make sure that your network has direct access to the common cloud applications. You know, network performance can stop you dead in your tracks. End user dissatisfaction can drive calls to your call centres. So network performance is actually a critical underpinning of any online application such as Teams. So we've embarked on a best connected cloud strategy. Cloud enablement, agility, security, network performance and resilience should be the deciding factor when you look at choosing a service provider. So we've invested in a core network that does that. The major data centre or the major cloud providers don't have data centres here in New Zealand. So that means connectivity is critical to network performance. So from a Kordia's perspective, we've invested in that connectivity for you. We are the only New Zealand cloud network connectivity cloud provider that has connections into Amazon, Google, and particularly of interest in this case is Microsoft via a number of peering and private connections. And that's all underpinned by our nationwide network, which is, we connect in with all the UFB providers and any network connectivity provider that provides fibre, as well as providing data failover via mobile networks. So from a Microsoft particular perspective, all your Microsoft applications are now on Net Kordia. So we were the first New Zealand provider to provide express route into Australia. We now provide that in New Zealand. That was announced mid last year when Microsoft announced the 5 New Zealand providers that can do that. We've always been providing Microsoft peering for free as part of our internet service. So our internet customers all get Microsoft peering standard with our internet. Now the other point there is Kordia is a New Zealand business telco only. We don't provide network services or internet services to residential customers, so you're not going to be impacted by the next fortnight download on your internet service, and we can provide very low contention internet. And just late last year, in November, I think it was, around Ignite in Las Vegas, I think Ignite was this year, we announced we're one of the global launch partners for what Microsoft called Microsoft Azure Peering Service. So we're one of a handful of providers doing that today. And what that means for our customers is that Microsoft preferences the traffic that comes from Kordia into the Microsoft cloud and actually right across the Microsoft cloud globally. And we have, as you can see in this picture, geographic diverse peering points in New Zealand and Australia. So that's 4 connections into the Microsoft cloud to enable that. So specifically around voice, we've been in this game a long time. We have around 20 million minutes a month going across our network. We have geographically diverse switches here in New Zealand. We have 3 peering points that we interconnect with the PSTN. They all fail over to each other. And via our partners, we have switches in Melbourne, Sydney, Singapore, London, New York, and San Francisco. And from a Teams perspective, any end users in Australia are on the same tenancy as here in New Zealand. So that's a good bonus as well. So Teams, I've talked about how the connectivity is quite important from a telco perspective in terms of getting a great network performance in terms of the Teams scenario. Teams is essentially an internet hosted service, so therefore network connectivity and internet performance is crucial. So don't want to labour the point, but if you don't want end user being frustrated due to network performance, so that becomes quite a critical component of the service end to end. And just to finish up my section, I'll just give you a little bit of an overview of what Mycloudcalling provides from the Kordia perspective. So within the flat price per user, with a minimum of 5, we provide and provision the SIP trunks in the background, a DDI or a phone number for each user, a call bundle that includes local, national, LAN to mobile calling. There's obviously an acceptable use policy in there, and cloud-hosted SBCs that are required, they're Microsoft certified that provide the direct routing into the team environment, and so they're geographically diverse, running an HA. All other calls, obviously international and everything else, is charged on a competitive per minute price, and we present all the calls and CDRs in near real time on a customer portal for the customer to review their calling online, and there's nice graphs showing trends, usage, where the calls are going, and from a reseller perspective, you're able to actually bill end user off those CDRs that are presented there for you, because they're the retail rated ones. So I'd just like to hand over to Robert from Microsoft at this point.
Thank you, Murray, for intro. Good morning, everybody. In my part, I'll talk shortly about some data statistics related to Teams momentum worldwide, but especially in New Zealand, and basically related opportunity that we see for our partners. But first thing, I'd like to spend 2 minutes on why this momentum is happening and why now. So Simon, if I can ask you for next slide. Lots of data. Why now? The answer is clearly changing modern workplace landscape, nothing new. The way how we cooperate, how we communicate, I'm sure you saw many different data over the last few years. But maybe to share with you like my personal morning story. On my way to work, walking to bus stop, I called my brother via Teams as he lives in Europe, and actually he has a birthday today, so I wanted to wish him all the best. And then typically I spend like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the bus. So I sorted out a few emails within the bus. Again, unfortunately, typically, then I joined Teams meeting because I was late, not being in the office in person yet. And once I arrived, I started working on different projects, by the way, checking the development of Teams usage in New Zealand, using the report within one of the Teams channels, and now doing the webcast. So just small things, but basically this is a massive change to what I was used to do in 5 years ago, going to work. And I'm sure you have lots of similar experiences. And there are many different statistics and surveys around this, but common thing is really people are working from anywhere, anytime, using any device. People are more part of more teams than ever before, and hence, or however, struggling to find needed info in time. So this is what is happening to all of us, and this is also why there is such a momentum with Teams that can address this, that is giving users single pane of glass for their projects and businesses, saving time, giving them flexibility, and so on and so on. To move to next slide, to give you some statistics around Teams momentum in worldwide. Simon, if I can ask you. Thank you. So basically, because of this, Teams is actually fastest growing application in Microsoft history. It's on the market 3 years, something like that, and not even, and overtaking market share from its competitors, like for example Slack. It's actually having more than 20 million daily users, active users, and weekly it's even more than 500,000 of organizations using Teams. And there could be like many different views on this, but clearly there is super strong momentum worldwide. On the next slide, you can see that this is confirmed also by independent parties like Gartner or Forrester, recognizing Teams as a leader just a few years being on the market, either in unified communication as a service or in the meetings provider. So, I mean, that was just quickly like a, let's say, worldwide perspective. What about New Zealand? And let's move to other slide. I can't share all the data, but I try to pick up few, and hopefully it's okay to sharing. Basically, right now, we have in New Zealand market around 750,000 Teams qualified entitlements, so basically paid subscriptions by customers that are ready to use Teams. If you add educational sector, it's much more. It's even like additional million and something more. To give you some perspective how fast Teams is growing, because one thing is that customers can start using it, but second thing is that they really are using it and they have use cases. So basically, we are adding more than 10,000 Teams users every month, and we are talking about basically medium large customers. It's even more once you add small customers. In New Zealand, there is a special situation, I would say, in comparison to other Microsoft markets in the world, because basically here we have one of the highest penetration of advanced solutions like Microsoft 365 E3, among medium and large customers, but also there is super strong position in terms of productivity solution, and basically definitely the highest revenue market share once you look at whole modern workplace cloud or Office 365 versus software as a service addressable market in New Zealand. And lastly, last but not least, huge growing ecosystem around Teams, either partners like you in terms of calling and meetings, or Kordia, or partners around collaboration, or partners delivering adoption and change management, or even developing different solutions and industry templates. So that's basically clearly momentum showed from worldwide perspective, New Zealand perspective, and what are the related opportunities. Again, you could have different lenses, but based on different surveys, trends, and customers discussions that we are having, I'm having, I would name 3 areas where I see the largest opportunity. First, clearly, adoption and change management. Why? Because Teams is bringing new way of working across the organization. So typically, it's connected to need to change the culture many times, change the processes. Plus, there is a huge demand from customers asking for help with the adoption of Teams across different teams within their organization, especially things like a governance, or basically helping with the rollout of Teams. So clearly, huge opportunity for partners to help with that and deliver different types of workshops and consultancy services, or help with the adoption or governance at the customer side and within their organizations. Another big opportunity and topic for today, calling and meetings. This is immediate need and priority of customers. For example, we run survey together with Forrester, recent one, among medium and large customers, and it clearly shows that majority of them, like exactly 68%, said we are ready and really want to invest into unified communication as a service in next 12 months. They see big advantage in flexibility, cost reduction, additional value, things that were mentioned that Murray already mentioned before me. For this one, actually, we can, thanks, Simon. I shared some total economic impact study that we recently run with Forrester, specifically for SMB and specifically where the partner opportunity sits. So definitely useful thing to check, and sharing the link in the deck, and afterwards, once the deck is shared, you can go and check it. And last but not least, big opportunities in team solution development as well. It was on previous slide, but it's not important. Basically, quickly to that one, Teams is not just solution for collaboration and communication, but mainly, or clear, it's platform which offers organization to have single pane of glass, as I already mentioned, on their businesses, projects, and which gives them platform environment where to connect multiple application and sources, and having everything in one place, having even like industry-related templates and more. So again, that's opportunity for partners to help with that, to create the different solutions, to create industry templates and so on. This is last slide, and basically, as it's great momentum around Teams, as there is lots of opportunity for you as a partners. Also, that's big priority for Microsoft, and because of that, we organize lots of events, lots of initiatives around this, and I just wanted to share just few of it for you that could be useful, and you can check after this webinar. So first, we are organizing lots of different trainings for partners, but for customers as well. I picked one, which is basically one-day adoption trainings that we run with help of external trainers, and typically running multiple cities during whole year. So definitely something you can check and see if it would be useful for you or for your customers to increase their readiness and awareness as well. Beside that, there is an initiative which is actually typically more for larger customer cases, but still in some cases you could possibly leverage it. We call it teamwork assessment, and basically this is an initiative when we support our partners also with some money, how to run different types of workshops at the customer side and deliver the message around teamwork, also calling and meetings. Important thing is, even though if you have small customers, at this site you can find lots of interesting content related to these workshops that you can leverage within your discussion. So useful for sure as well. And last to mention is usage incentive, something which some of you can leverage. So definitely good to check the eligibility. Typically, it's based on the competency that you should have. And then you can basically, for the cases where you are active at the customer side, you can get some incentive once customers are using Teams more and more. Few links to check. Basically, what you can then see on the screen, it's either partner-related content around teamwork, the total economic impact case studies or studies that I shared, and many other different resources and materials that you could use, including also some interactive adoption kits, including some customer-ready materials. That's it. It was in a nutshell, very fast. Hopefully it was beneficial for you, and I'm heading over to Simon again, correct?
Yes, thanks, Robert. Thanks so much for your time, Robert. It's great. There's some real useful insights, and just to sort of enhance on what Robert was talking around the usage incentives. So Exceed, you've probably met Janine or Amanda, our Modern Workplace BDMs. They're out there actively working with our partners to be able to talk to them about their competency levels, what sort of rebates or incentives that are available to them out in the channel, and how we can help you as our partners make more money and add more value into your business. And so moving on from that, what is the reseller value prop for our Mycloudcalling offering? And initially, obviously, it's the annuity revenue and margin from a bundled proposition. So where those margins come from? So margin on the actual Mycloudcalling plan itself. We're only publishing a reseller buy price. And that sits currently at $13 for up to 10 users and $12 for up to 10 plus users. It's up to you to on charge what you feel. We're not going to fix your margin for that, but we do have partners that are selling the service at around the $18 to $20 a month. So there's an opportunity to make some good margin on the actual bundled calling itself. The second would be margin on the hardware, whether you're selling a desk phone or one of the great Jabra headsets or devices, desktop devices that we do here at Exceed. So there's the ability to obviously make the margin on that hardware or the device itself, whether it's a laptop or a tablet or a phone that you're selling into the customer's site. Also, margin on the services, so the customer transition to Teams. I'll go through what the various roles are in the next few slides to explain where the demarcation lines are for yourselves as our reseller partners, for Kordia, as well as what Exceed bring to the table for you. There's also margin on the managed Teams tenancy, so that could be their entire Office 365 tenancy. So you can actually make a margin on the price per user for it as a simple managed service. So Kordia are also able there to help you to sell the SIP and the connectivity if needed. So they'll work with our partners, and this is another reason why Kordia are great to work with, and that they'll work side by side with you guys. As will the Exceed team. I'm out most of my time with partners, as is Kenny, and as are our Modern Workplace BDM. So we'll work with you and pull in resource from Kordia and Microsoft if required. What we're also doing, which is quite exciting, is this is a base from which you can build additional revenue streams. At the moment, we're kicking off with Mycloudcalling. We have got some express route pricing as well for Azure and in our price list, so we can provide you with some Kordia express route connections. There are other services that we're working with Kordia on to open up to our channel. And our reseller channel here in New Zealand is renowned for having unique offerings to provide into their partners. So you may have some services that you want to bundle up with the Mycloudcalling offer. And all of it, because reverting back to the first line of this, it's annuity revenue, it's recurring revenue, it's the same value each month. All you're doing is growing user counts. So it's a great opportunity to get some good recurring revenue coming into your business. So we'll talk a little bit now about the different roles for the service. So for a reseller, the role here for our systems integrators is to manage the customer tenancy setup and the transition. So we have about a 10-day, it's around a 10-day lead time from you ordering the service through us here at Exceed to it actually being live with you and the customer. And during that time, it's an engagement between you as the reseller and the team, the deployment team at Kordia. So you guys will be in charge of ensuring, and we'll assist you with this here at Exceed and through my cloud store. Obviously, you have a portal that's available to ensure the correct licensing is in place, but also manage the transition for the calling service to be implemented across the team's tenancy for the customer. You're also, obviously, as a reseller, involved in the provision of the hardware and the supply of that. The customer training, we will assist you with that. And as Robert alluded to, there's some great stuff that Microsoft are offering as far as one-day events, or there's rafts of information online for teams and how to use it as a customer, but also how to deploy it in the direct routing model that we have here within your customer tenancy. You will invoice your customer directly, as per normal, with all of the Exceed Cloud services, and you as a partner will also offer that first level support. We'll talk a little bit more about the support as we roll through as well. But that first point of call would be yourselves as the provider to the customer. The Kordia role here is pretty straightforward. We've sort of covered off where Kordia fit into the mix here. So they'll manage the porting process. So you're able to, if your customer has numbers that they want to bring across, that's absolutely available. They can retain all of their numbers if they wish. Kordia will manage the porting of those numbers or setting up new DDIs for each one of the users. Kordia as well will set up the SBC and the SIP trunks as expected. They'll then test with ourselves, both yourself and the customer. Kordia will manage all the PSTN and SBC related faults. So that's when we're starting to get into sort of level 2, level 3 type faults. They'll rate all calls, and that's presented on their customer portal, which you as a reseller will have access to, and you'll be able to see all of your customer calls under your reseller login. So you can see that in almost real time and have that to hand pretty regularly. We will invoice you as we do traditionally with our cloud services. So we'll be working through that with you as partners as we start firing these services up. Kordia will provide all access to all of the Kordia suite of services as we move through this evolution of this relationship with Kordia. So we'll be offering things up into our annuity catalogue, or if it's a direct engagement or a large enterprise customer, then Kordia and yourself as the systems integrator or the reseller will be dealing directly on things like wide area networks or security services for some of your larger enterprises. So what does Exceed do? We make things easy for you. So we bundle up the pricing and provide the service out to you. We'll support all of our resellers as we do today with not only the Office 365 or Microsoft tenancy setup to ensure that the licensing is there, but we'll sort of work in the middle as the swivel chair say around the transitional phase of the moving the customer into the Kordia environment. We'll also invoice you, which is great. and we'll use the portal as well alongside yourselves as partners, just to look at the variable charges and work with you to make sure that everything is priced out competitively and we're invoicing the correct services. We're also here for the second and third level support, so we'll be able to ascertain whether we need to log the ticket on either Microsoft or Kordia, but we'll work with you as that swivel chair to be able to ensure that there's no impact on service for your customer, or the impact is very minimal as we work through and get the service up and running for yourselves and for your partners and customers. So that's really it for us from a slide presentation perspective. Janine's been monitoring the Q&A, so I think there was a couple of questions come in, Janine, or have you been answering those?
One in particular, maybe go through the pricing.
Through the pricing?
Yeah.
Yep, sure. So initially we've got a pricing model based on per user per month cost, which for 5 to 10 users. So it's a minimum of 5 users. For 12 months, the service is implemented and for 12-month lots, and that is $13 per user per month, including all of the local, national and mobile calls. And then if you're 10 plus users, that drops down to $12 per user per month. And that again is, there's your price break. Hey, if you come to me with a 200 seat site, let's have a discussion. Murray's very approachable. He likes the beer like the rest of us, so everyone's open to negotiation on pricing. And there's a one-off setup fee, and the setup fee is for the first 10 users of $285 at a reseller buy, and that includes the porting, the provisioning of the new DDIs or moving of the existing numbers across. There are some telco levies. We'll present the price list to you in an infographic, which will show, as I say, all of these are just reseller prices. We're not putting any RRP pricing out for this. We'll let you set the price for your partners, and we're also with the $285, that's for the first 10 users, and then it's $9 per user over that. So there's some quick calculations that will show you to provision sort of a 10 or 20 seat site. It's pretty cost effective to get these up and running. We're also able to do some proof of concepts and trials. What we ask for a trial is that you pay for the installation service. And then we can let you have a month of the service to test with your customer. And if the customer wishes to proceed and turn it into a production environment, we'll just turn them into a billing customer, and there's no actual technology changes needed to be made. We can go from a proof of concept to production relatively seamlessly. And like I say, it's just the setup fee because it still requires the same sort of engineering to get this up and running. So hopefully that covers it. We'll obviously offer up more reseller pricing as we go through and as we add services into the Mycloudcalling portfolio.
One gentleman here wants to know how the pricing compares to Kordia direct pricing.
We're way cheaper than Kordia direct.
The simple answer is that you shouldn't. Price won't be the determination of which avenue you go down. Price neutral either way.
Yep.
Is the Kordia? We have answered these, but we'll go through them anyway. Is the Kordia part a SIP trunk that we would configure in the SIP settings in the Teams admin panel?
Yes, effectively, yes, it is. There are some PowerShell scripts to move that number and that trunk across into the Teams environment. We've actually got a document in the mycloudcalling.co.nz site which explains the requirements at a reseller level. But yes, it is. It's provisioning the SIP trunk into the Teams tenancy.
Yeah, from a Kordia perspective, we just need the customer IP domain name, the numbers. We set all that up in the SBC, and we work with you to make sure everything works before we turn things on, and we can do some trials, tests. Yep.
Is it one line per user, so one-on-one, or many to one, i.e. 5 users equals 1 line, 10 users equals 2 lines?
So Kordia, so there's known contention ratios between users and SIP trunks. Kordia will, in the background, implement that contention ratio and will monitor to make sure that there's no busy signal, should I say, if a number of people make a call at the same time. So we look after that, but the intention is that you shouldn't be getting blocked calls.
Another one is how will the IVR functions work?
The IVR functions?
Yes.
Are you talking about the call attendants and if you are, then they just work as they do within the Teams environment. There are cloud call attendants and meeting rooms and audio conferencing. All of those features will still work within the environment. It's just at a configuration level. As you go through the Teams console and set up, it does show you, and there are some online courses for that, but just to preempt that, we're running another session on the 10th of March, another one of these webinars, which will take you through a provisioning example for direct routing for Kordia. So we'll show you some of the features, but things like the cloud auto attendance and call routing, all of that is part of the Teams environment anyway. So it just includes all of that. The Mycloudcalling piece is we're creating the SIP trunk and the connectivity to the PSTN network.
Yeah. So Kordia provides all the necessary service numbers, but the rest is actually a tenancy set up within the Office 365 phone system.
Yeah.
Do customers have to use E5 for this?
No, so any E license, E1, E3, E5 within Office 365 and Microsoft 365 is available to take a phone system add-on. So you can provision across an E1 license because it will accept phone system. It's really any one of the enterprise licenses that has a phone system add-on.
And it's included with E5.
Sorry, yes, and thanks, Jeanette. It's included with E5. So phone system is included with E5. With E1 and E3, it's a $13.50, I think, per month add-on per user.
Is there a FTP for CDR dailies or API for CDRs for billing integration?
It's just a login to the Kordia portal.
Yes, I'll say yes. We do that for customers. We would have to a qualified yes. We can work with you on that.
Okay. Are all calls visible in near real time in a portal for review by both the customer and the reseller partner?
Yes.
If so, and an end user is interested in restricting visibility of numbers calling in and out of their tenant for privacy reasons, can this be facilitated?
Blocking.
From a PSTN perspective, we can. There are processes within the TCF that allow for that. Not sure in terms of being able to do that on the Microsoft phone system tenant.
Yeah, again, we may need to take that one offline. Reach out to either to me directly if you've got my email address, or via my cloud store at exceed.co.nz, and I'll take that offline and maybe have a chat with the Microsoft guys, and we could possibly reconnect with Robert if need be.
Are there any limitations around who the clients have as existing ISP?
Well, no, it's a internet hosted service. So if you can use the existing ISP or internet service, I guess my point is pushing the Kordia barrow is we have all the Microsoft peering, low contention internet. So I would tell you that it works better over a Kordia connection, but of course it'll work over a good quality internet connection.
And we're working, Murray and I are working together at the moment on looking at offering up those Kordia connections as an Exceed service in the very near future. So look, it's that better connected architecture that Murray alluded to at the beginning of the presentation that kind of make it a lot simpler, and there's some things around call quality with Teams. We've not heard any sort of grave stories on call quality being bad, but we believe that if you can do it all with the direct pairing that Kordia offer, it's just going to make that quality that much better, and we'll have some control over the QoS then.
There's some benefits obviously in being an end-to-end Kordia service in terms of service quality and diagnosing any of those curly issues that come up. But it is an internet service, so it'll work over any ISP connection.
That's it.
So that's it. So look, thanks so much for your time, guys. And if you have any further questions, email myself or Janine or your account manager here at Exceed Direct, or via our mycloudstore.co.nz email address. It's a simple order process. Just email MyCloudStore. We'll send you a SIP order form, which is a simple spreadsheet to fill out where we grab some customer information, obviously your information as a reseller. We've built the mycloudcalling.co.nz site, and there's a great resources section there that we're loading more and more information into every day. So look, if you do have any direct questions, pick up the phone, give us a yell, or call me via Teams if you can. And I look forward to talking to you again soon on the 10th of March, where, like I say, it'll be a little bit more of a deep dive into the technology, and we'll also introduce some of the Microsoft guys into the mix, and we'll talk more about the actual setup of the service inside the Teams tenancy. So thanks a lot for your time, and this is being recorded, so it'll be available on the mycloudcalling.co.nz site soon. Thank you very much.